We are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Mayville Common Council meeting Monday, March 11th, 6 p.m. Please take the roll.
Anthony Baker.
Here.
Keith Ludall.
Here.
Nicholas Schmidt.
Here.
Gene French.
Here.
Nick Selecki is here.
Nick Steckel?
Stecker. There we go.
Thank
And Nicholas Ludall.
Here. All right, quorum is present. Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To everyone. Item number 3, citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments this evening? Citizen comments should be kept to a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker unless chairperson allows an extension of time. Each citizen is to make comments at the podium after stating their name and address. Each citizen may comment only one time per hearing or meeting. Rachel?
There's no testing.
No, just speak, just project it, it'll pick it up on the,
I can do it.
okay.
Okay. I'm Rachel Smith. I reside at 4 South Main Street. I have a little anecdote that's gonna start you out tonight, so you get the flavor of what I'm trying to talk about. I have a friend who's a pastor in California, and sometimes we can all find ourselves in situations we didn't expect. You gotta pivot, you gotta go on the fly, but after, you gotta come back, reorganize, figure out what to do. So they invited a really well-known speaker, and he came. The meeting was going great. There were, volunteers in the kitchen that were making the meal for after, and there was a lot of smoke that came out of the oven, and the alarms went off, and the lights went out, and there was no windows, and they had to move the whole meeting outside. Thankfully, California, not Wisconsin. So the meeting concluded. It was great. They did a great job. But you can be sure that my friend, who is a phenomenal organizational leader, did not leave it to chance that that would happen again. She reviewed policies and procedures and put things in place to make sure that that would not occur a second time, right? So I think that Mayville is in a similar position. I think that some things have been found out that there weren't things in place for certain things to happen. And so part of, I'll get to that at the end, but the majority of today I spent reading literature on conflict because I'm in the final stages of the literature review for my strategic leadership master's degree. Jesus help me, I will finish and graduate in May. So my thoughts on this subject are super fresh and on the different research and things that I'm using for my own project, right? So I'm gonna share a few things. Conflict is an inevitable condition of interacting with other humans. We know, we're all old enough if we're not too. Conflict outcomes can be negative or positive. We form patterns of behavior in conflict, but we can change negative or dysfunctional behaviors to positive ones if we want to. And training has been proven to help. Conflict is a signal that people have work to do if they want to achieve positive outcomes for their organizations. I believe the Mayville City Council has an opportunity to look at the source of recent conflict and put some measures in place that will benefit our future. And I do believe Mayville has a great future. But I do also believe it's an opportunity that can easily be missed if we focus on the wrong things or ignore or avoid the conflict. So I came to pose a challenge to myself, to the citizens of Mayville, and to the council. This one, whoever they might be in April. In our reflections, conversations, actions in the coming days, weeks, months, years, what can be part of those reflections, those actions, those conversations that will lead to positive outcomes, that will lead to policies that provide paths to better conflict resolution in the future. How can we step back from negative emotions and be an observer of the situation and say, how can we better in the future look at people as humans, look at people as neighbors, and have guidelines that help us through similar situations that might most likely occur. So, any questions? That's it. That was really, honestly, I just wanted to,
Like, behind every complaint, there's really a request. And so many times we just hear somebody barking and we're not, you mentioned psychological distance, to be able to stand back and say, okay, I know they're unhappy about this. To be able to come back to that person and say, we've heard you, thanks for venting. Do you have a request?
yeah, anybody that's been married, everybody here been married? Well, there you go. We have chances to tweak all the time, don't we? And to say conflict is inevitable. Now what? Now where are the tweaks? So I would expect that would be happening, but I will challenge it to be sure that it happens. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming here. Are there any other citizen comments tonight? Item 4, under new business. Step 1, approved minutes of the January 8th, 2024 common council meeting. I'll take the motion. So, a second. Motion by Schmidt, and that second was by Keith Little. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2, approve operators licenses for the following: Desiree Share, Mayville, Wisconsin; Darren Wattsville, Dalek; Orcon, Kaylin Anderson, Terry, Mayville, and Brittany Schmidt of West Bend. Chief or Lieutenant, have you done a check on all those? All good? All right, take a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Motion by Nicholas Lodahl.
Second.
Second by Schmidt. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Item 3, approve resolution 5896, 2024. Read in. This is appointing Cherie Davis to the Parks and Rec Board. That is it is in here, just keep it.
Right after the motion, right after the.
Okay.
Motion to accept.
There it is, thank you. Appointment to Park and Recreation Commission, resolution 5896 2024. Whereas the mayor has accepted the resignation of Marcia Kraser from the Park and Recreation Commission, and whereas in accordance with municipal code 22-10A, the mayor shall appoint, subject to confirmation of the common council, and therefore the mayor hereby appoints Cherie Davis to serve on the Park and Recreation Commission for a 2-year term expiring October 1st, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the common council of the city of Mayville does hereby approve the above mentioned mayoral appointment to the Park and Recreation Commission passed by the common council, City of Mayville, this 11th day of March, 2024. Do you care to make a motion?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Nick Lodahl.
Second.
Second by Alderman DeBaker. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Step better.
Oh, did you make the motion, Nick Steckel?
He made the second, made the motion.
Oh, and you second, okay.
Doesn't matter.
We like to keep good records. Turn my hearing aids up. Thanks.
Did we vote on that?
So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Welcome to Park and Rec Commission, Sheree Davis, thank you. All right, item number 4. Temporary Class B retailer license for St. Mary Cribbage Tournament dated tournament on March 9th, 2024. It's a provisional license to Gwen dated was provided on 2/28/24. So this is essentially ratifying the decision to offer the Class B retailer license for the St. Mary Cribbage Tournament this past weekend.
I so move.
Okay, motion by Keith Lovell,
Second.
second by Schmidt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Item 6, temporary Class B retailer license for Mayville Alliance polka dances from 4/13/24 through 6/8/24 at the Mayville Park Pavilion.
So move.
Motion by Schmidt,
I'll second.
second by Jean. Brings. All in favor, say aye. Okay, motion carries. Item 7, peddler permit for Samuel O'Reilly, 3/15/24 through 6/15/24.
What does he peddle?
Any background on that? Can you do a check on that?
Yeah, he did.
Did,
Yeah.
We did background stuff,
okay,
siding and those.
Yeah,
windows?
it's for quoting, like going out to people's houses and to get quotes on siding and windows.
okay. Anyone care to make a motion to approve the peddler permit to last for 3 months? 3/15 through 6/15.
So move.
Motion by Schmidt,
Second.
second by the Baker. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8. Approve the discussion of the polling location to start again with the city attorney and that needed documentation be submitted to the Wisconsin Elections Commission. So essentially, we began the process a couple of months ago and working with the city attorney to identify the process of switching the poll location to the new library. We were advised by Karen Gibson to delay till at least the August election, but certainly the November election. And it is a pretty intensive process to get the polling location changed. So we're asking for approval from the council to engage the city attorney to start the process of getting the polls switched over to the library. And just for background, 2 years ago, this polling location was deemed non-compliant due to the ramp, this steepness of the ramp. So it's not ADA compliant. So, yeah, this one here in City Hall.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
So-
the library is an elevator, so it takes care of it, right?
Yep. So they've got plenty of room. So I guess the appropriate motion would be, a motion to begin the process with the city attorney to start the wheels in motion.
I will.
Okay,
I'll second.
Keith Lowenall, and second by Gene Frings. Any further discussion?
Just a clarification for staff, who's being directed, the mayor or the interim clerk? It's not clear in the motion.
Good idea. So, I can contact, Nolan if you'd like to get it started.
That doesn't need to be in the motion, just staff would need direction to act on it, so.
Okay. Contact no one. Did we vote? I had second, we did not, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 5, old business. Reaffirm the passage of ordinance 1136/2023. This was originally passed on December 12th, 2023. It's an ordinance that came to the common council that originally started in the planning commission. It was passed unanimously by the common council. I believe there was a publishing requirement that needed to happen with the paper, and we didn't make the deadline. So in a sense, we are asking to approve this once again, and now we'll get it to the paper for publishing and modify the ordinance.
Question,
Oh, yeah.
is that cast in stone or is this still available to discuss what's in here?
So this ordinance.
You mind,
It's gone through legal, but do you want more time to read it?
can I come?
Yeah, please.
I'm on the Board of Appeals, and this addresses, probably 90% of the appeals that we've had. They were primarily for people who wanted to put an accessory structure on their yard without a driveway going to it.
Mhm.
And this takes care of it. It puts that to rest, and that was the purpose for this. We'd asked for a number of years to have this done, and finally it's gotten to this point. I would like to see it move forward.
Well, the question that I have on it is, so you'd like to see a driveway put in?
No,
No.
there's no reason for, all you're parking in your accessory structure is a lawnmower, why should you pave a driveway?
Right, yes.
And that's what the old ordinance said.
Oh, okay, because I'm reading here, it shall be serviced by a driveway or concrete, and I'm thinking, why? I agree with you.
Yeah, we are removing that requirement.
Oh, thank you.
What we
I'm
found
sorry. I didn't get a chance to really review it.
over time is people would submit an appeal.
Awesome.
And we were granting the appeal 99.9% of the time. So this should save everybody a bunch of time
What about the 18 feet in height? The reason I'm saying that is that somebody may have an existing home with the typical 7-foot garage door.
Yeah.
And now they want to get a Class B RV, and those things, you better be talking 9.5, a 10-foot door would be just fine.
Then
Maybe it's a Class C.
then they'll need to come to the Board of Appeals, because that gets to the height where it could be blocking sightlines and that sort of thing for their neighbors. That's the reason that was in there to begin with in the ordinance.
Okay,
So they would start with Rob Throw, the building inspector, get some guidance and provisions of what the accessory dimensions are to be, what is standard and approved.
okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or discussion?
Do we have a motion on that second?
So
If not,
no.
so we need a motion, which I will make.
Okay, the motion is by Keith Lodo.
Second.
Second, yeah, I didn't see who said Mr. Schmidt. Second by Alderman Schmidt. Any further discussion? All in favor of reaffirming the passage of ordinance number 1136/2023, originally passed on December 12th, 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion
I
carries.
abstain.
Okay, we will mark it. 5 ayes, 1 abstain. All right. Mayor's report, I'm gonna keep it pretty brief tonight, but what I do want to talk about is progress and some notable things that the council will be seeing tonight is really a strong demonstration of how much progress the city has made in terms of managing folks, managing finances, and creating meaningful output for the council's viewing and interpretation. So I really want to point out, again, it has been fantastic working with Cameron Sawyer working with his firm and helping, Mayville in that endeavor. Tony Meeks has done a fantastic job. Really encouraged him to take ownership and you know, as our comptroller treasurer to drive things going forward. And that is occurring, I'm pleased to say. And what you have before you, tonight is going to be, well, two things. Number one, when I first became mayor, the checking accounts had not been reconciled in over a year. And we made big headway on that, early in the year, this year, when Angie joined the city for a period of time as comptroller treasurer. And then, after not having a comptroller treasurer again for a series of months, we, fell behind yet again. We have reconciled all of the deposit accounts through January.
Through December.
Through December.
Working on January.
Working on January now. So the impact is, as we look through these budget performance to date, the numbers that you're seeing, are all going to match what we see in our deposit account. So it's a significant, development and advance. And then as a matter of practice, coming forward, each common council meeting, Tony will be following the standard format of the reports, which will include bills to be paid and more on that. I don't want to steal his thunder. I want to give him the opportunity. But again, I think this is a terrific demonstration of how important the work has been, seeing what the results have been, certainly putting the city in a much better position so that we can effectively manage budgets going forward. So I'm very proud of that. So thank you. The next thing that I want to talk about is we are in the process of implementing a meeting management software platform called eScribe. eScribe is going to give us the capability to not only distribute our packets in a much more and agendas in a much more automated manner and easy to reference manner, but also it's going to allow for us to complete the minutes gathering process and the record keeping process. So right now, and people have noted that there's a number of minutes that do not currently appear on the city's website. Those minutes do exist inside City Hall, so I would encourage anybody from the public, you can contact City Hall and you can get copies of minutes. And I know that we all agree, in the ideal world, you're gonna be able to, on a self-serve basis, get those minutes real-time online. That's what we're getting back to. So thank you for everybody who's doing that work. Last note, Wednesday evening, we are interviewing two highly qualified candidates for our open city clerk position. I appreciate all of you that are going to be in attendance for that meeting. And that is going to cure a lot of challenges we have just simply by having a city clerk in place who comes from a municipal clerk background. So it's going to be really good. So looking forward to that. And that's all I have. Any questions?
What were the times on the interviews Wednesday again?
So the first one, so the meeting is slated to start at 4:15 PM. There's a couple of items of business, just, the council needs to appoint an interim council president. And I will be making the assignments to the committees, the standing committees, public safety, public works, what am I missing? Finance and personnel. So those two items of business, then we'll go into closed session. We'll do the interviews, discuss, and the potential exists after coming out of closed session. We may be offering job offers to one of our candidates. So Wednesday night, it's a big week.
Well, I'm talking about eScribe, we were attempting to put together the communications profile for the city with a short-lived communications committee. eScribe was one of the firms that I looked at, and the committee was given the information to look at, and they're pretty darn good, I think. I would likely been a recommendation from that. Corrections.
So I've delivered to eScribe our standard meeting agenda templates that come right out of, city ordinance, and those will be used as the templates. So we're following the procedure on what is included in the agendas. It's gonna be really good. So more to come. All right, that is the mayor's report. Are we moving to city clerk? Did you have something you want me to read in? All right. Let's find it. Is it just these notes? Okay, all right, so, the city clerk's report, absentee ballots are ready to be mailed Tuesday, March 12th. I want to thank you for how hard you've been working, and you've been doing great work both with the county as well as, you know, we need to call out our, chief inspectors, Sue Smith, Ken Oxner, Jeff Shaw. Barbara Brown is in training to become chief inspector, and then we had, Gloria Schraub visiting, and Diane Mady was here as well. So yes, so the community has definitely stepped up to help us along. So this is a huge election year. This is why, and yet another reason it's imperative to get an experienced city clerk in place so we can be ready for the presidential election. So anyways, nice work.
Could I add one thing under the clerk?
Please, yes.
So just a reminder, as you mentioned, there are still 2 open positions here at City Hall. So, you know, anybody who's either making a request or comes to the city and requests information, just understand staff are working through those requests as quickly as possible. But taking 2 positions out of a overall office of, you know, less than a handful, makes a significant difference. So, appreciate everybody's patience. In talking with some of the election staff, there may be an opportunity or potential improvement on the equipment. There's some election equipment that we might want to consider purchasing before November. Ultimately, the new clerk and or Chris will come to this board with recommendations, stuff that not huge investments, but things that could help efficiency, especially with the volume you'll see in November. And that's it for clerk. I'll talk more on the next part.
Also, gotta give a shout out to Amanda Fleischer. She's here helping as frequently as she can. So thank you, Amanda. And also Karen Gibson's office, and Danielle and everyone at the county has been very helpful and fantastic to work with. So the trend of running great elections is continuing forward with Mayville. Appreciate the help from so many people. The absentee ballots are ready to be mailed tomorrow. Okay, when will the polls be available to actually place votes?
So they can come in and do the in-person voting starting the 19th through the 29th.
Okay,
The city hall calendar is, the 29th is supposed to be closed, but I will be here on the 29th because it has to be open and available so that people can still vote on the 29th.
okay. And then the payment box, which we
It is
seal.
going to be sealed from the 19th through the 29th, or through the 2nd.
Okay, 19th through the 2nd. Citizens who require special assistance can park at the base of the stairs.
Yeah.
Call up to City
Yeah.
Hall and you'll go out and go to the front. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Great, thank you. Nice work, Chris. Treasurer report.
I'm gonna start off and then I'm gonna kick it to Tony. First and foremost, you know, it's been a long journey to get the accounts reconciled, to get the city's audit started today. So kind of as we reflect on some updates, just some opportunities of improvement. You know, the city has over 18 different either checkings or savings accounts. As I did my review, you know, my recommendations were look for opportunities for consolidation. Tony and I have preliminarily brought up a couple ideas. Ultimately, we'll verify with the auditor firm of the city to make sure that we're able to close truthfully as many counts as possible, and consolidate. Secondly, the city has started working on, the debt issuance process. From start to finish, at a minimum, it's about a 45-day process, which includes, a combination of financial factors, growth, stats and statistics, as well as other demographic statistics for the area. So coming, at a, I believe the next meeting, or 2 meetings from now, on April 9th, will be, the preliminary sale, or other.
Yeah. I don't know if they're only open Thursday, I don't know. Thursday, Friday?
That it owns. That is a one-time payment as well. That's roughly 150,000. That is typically, or I would recommend making that entry sometime in August. So revenues tend to be a lot more, or a lot less, steady, whereas our expenditures, if we're 16% through the budget, year, you'd expect expenditures, or most expenditures, to be roughly at 16%. The last attachment that you have before we'll open the, to questions is the accounts payable listing. This is a critical document where, essentially it lists out all the checks that, staff have received, have entered in, and ultimately will be paid. My recommendation to the city would be, on a every meeting basis, you get presented with an accounts payable listing. Once it's approved, the next day checks can be issued, based off the approved checks. Just another checks and balance, that helps with good controls. And then Tony, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to say that, with the AP checklist, unless it is viewed by you and approved by you, a check will not be leaving my office without your approval. So just in case phone calls or something come in, there's a reason why the check didn't go out.
So in the future, I know this is awesome, very helpful. And it'll be important for the council to have time to review all this. And in my experience, when we were doing this earlier, it's usually a couple of hours, really just follow through. And just I would encourage you to just go line by line, and if something just piques your interest and you're curious about it, make a note and bring it to the council meeting for discussion.
And I will supply you with, the invoice and the checks, so you can look at it, and make sure it makes sense.
Is that a finance committee meeting or is that at the council meeting?
Council meeting, yeah. And then Tony is going to implement his policy as it relates to when you need to get payment requests, or when you want them to be received. Okay. All right. So we'll fine tune this process prior to the April meeting in terms of getting the reports out in time, so. Council, thank you.
Yeah, as a goal, just increase transparency, allows people to ask questions. There are a couple examples of items where, it's already a prior commitment, like a payroll liability, like paying the IRS for federal withholding or state withholding. Those type of things will go out prior to council approval because those have ramifications for late payments. Ultimately, they will be represented, for your review, anything that was paid for a reason from a timing perspective. Typically, they're revolving around payroll liabilities.
Any questions of Cameron or Tony?
Yeah, one thing, 2023, the city hall budget was 27,300. Actual was 58,000.
What was the category?
Which one did you say now?
City hall. Oh, 1/3 of the way down on the 23 expenditures.
Okay. So,
That's quite a variance.
Yep,
And then we go to 24 and the budget is considerably less, 16,000. I mean, there must have been some massive expenditure there unexpected. And a reason why 24 is going to be so much less than the budget at 23.
Well, I would say very respectfully that, the 23 budget was not done proficiently. So, you will find those kind of issues every once in a while if you can really study it.
Okay, but well, I guess the point is, are you comfortable with the 60,024 budget?
Couple things, just high level. So the 2024 budget was a combination of a firm called Sickich that came in, did a high level analysis recommendation. By the time I came in, it was a high level looking, okay, are we missing anything major? Ultimately, what I've kind of tasked Tony with is kind of going through and now that we have a much better understanding of where we're gonna end up in every category, there may possibly be a budget amendment. Likely that would not include increasing expenditures, but shifting it into their correct buckets. Similarly, now that we're caught up with the records, we can start looking at how the city can save money. I've expressed a couple of areas where I believe you guys may be paying more on certain professional services or other things that present an opportunity for cost savings. Ultimately, saving taxpayer dollars and making sure that they're being spent efficiently. The one category that might be a little small is elections. At the time that the budget was created, I think the budget review and the budget process did a good job of kind of estimating what it would cost, but a presidential election is like more than, it's not appropriate to look at the prior year, even 2 years ago. You have to go to a year of a presidential election. On top of it, I believe you guys will have every possible election this year. So you'll have the February, April, August, and November. And of course, you know, it doesn't matter if there's one person on the ballot or two people on the ballot, or as complex as the November, that infrastructure to get that in place is challenging. I can tell you, it's not a good thing per se, but the staff vacancies from January 1 until today has presented a cost saving. So when I had mentioned potentially presenting a budget amendment, it might be reallocating salaries that went unspent categories where we see a potential not enough or shortfall. Hopefully that explains. And I apologize that I don't have that answer for you off the top of my head.
You know, I was thinking, didn't we have a couple of heating units that caught fire and such in 2023 that could amount for quite a bit of that? If that is the case, I don't know.
I don't believe that's the case on that one. I'll get an answer though.
Any other questions? All right, committees, commissions, and boards, personnel committee. Update on the city clerk position. As I mentioned earlier, we have 2 interviews of highly qualified city clerk candidates set up for Wednesday late afternoon and evening. City administrator position, the status of the city administrator position is that the city still needs to modify its ordinances to reflect the city administrator form of government. And one thing that PAA has suggested we consider is do a walk before you run approach. Something to consider. Potentially one of these candidates has a skill set that might allow them to serve as a city clerk, but also have functions, chief administrative officer, so they can start putting in procedural steps and processes in place with the idea and understanding that we're trying to create a better environment for success for a new city administrator to come work for the city of Mayville. So an interim approach could be, and a cost-effective approach could be, hire a city clerk with a skill set that allows them to handle a lot of the overall administrative stuff. And then, once things have really kind of leveled out, begin a search for a new city clerk, and that person, this new person that we potentially hired this week, could move into the city administrator role. So that's just a succession plan that might be advantageous for the city to consider. Discuss with possible action updating pay range for the city clerk on advice from PAA, Public Administrative Associates. So the recommendation for from Chris at PAA is he has indicated that our standard city clerk pay scale is appropriate and in market. And if we were to do an interim step where you had a city clerk who took on or city administrator type role as an interim step, that would go beyond the scope, and he recommends a range between $83,000 and $93,000 if you were to hire somebody with that interim role where they're actually doing kind of quasi city administrator work in addition to the city clerk work. And Chris is going to be here Wednesday with us, and if you'd like to have that discussion with Chris and he can share with you his findings, it would be appropriate to table this pending for a conversation with, or a presentation or a conversation with Chris.
I think that would be wise, so I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I would pause on that. This is just a range. If you want to lower the range, I would approve it. What could happen is you get a candidate and it's not in your range, and not being able to extend an offer could potentially hurt you. So if there's a problem with the bottom end of that range, I would lower the bottom, but that just gives you flexibility for being able to act on that. So obviously this council can vote on the position and what they think that the actual offer should be. But in my opinion, it would be wise to approve the range to me.
I'll withdraw motion too.
And just for clarification, if you just, if we were talking about starting this on January 1 of this year, the city has budgeted $100,000 for a city administrator salary. And the city has budgeted for our standard city clerk salary, which again is in that 60 to 75 range, whatever it may be. So combined 175,000. As an interim step, if you were to hire a candidate who had the right skill set and able to accomplish both, you'd be able to cover both tasks for less than $100,000. And then again, prepare to, to hire a city administrator months down the road. They're gonna have a good environment set up for them ready to go.
So what was the recommended?
So the recommend was 83 to 93, but I think if you were to say 63 to 93, that would accommodate the role.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Keith Flodell. I'll second. Second by Nick Flodell. Any further conversation? Please take the roll call vote.
Anthony Baker,
Yes, I agree.
Keith Rodolph.
Aye.
Mike Schmidt,
Aye.
Gene French,
Aye.
Dick.
Aye.
Yeah, Nicholas Bodwell.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay, the date and time of the next personnel committee meeting will be Monday, March 25th. And as I said, this Wednesday afternoon, I will make the assignments for personnel sitting committee. Next is the library board. The minutes are attached for your review. The date and time of the next meeting of the library board will be this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mr. Schmidt, there's going to be a conflict there for you. So,
Yeah, I'm going.
okay. Let's see, Parks and Rec minutes from the January 10th and February 14th minutes are attached. Date and time of the next meeting is going to be Wednesday, April 3rd, 1 p.m. at the tag. In terms of the Parks and Rec Tag Center Commission, my recommendation is, and maybe Nick Steckel, you've got an update, but a recommendation would be to proceed with the park study that is funded for this year, so that we can then seek additional sources of grants, which is only available to you if you do have a comprehensive parks plan. I know that's something that's in the works. Date and time of the next meeting is going to be Wednesday, April 3rd, 1 p.m. at the Tag Center. Item D, Community Development Authority. We are wanting to recruit additional citizens who are interested in serving. So please contact City Hall if you're interested in serving on the Community Development Authority. Planning Commission. In last month's Planning Commission meeting, the topic of the comprehensive plan came up. And the recommendation to the council was made to issue an RFP to a specialty firm that helps municipalities in creating a comprehensive plan. The issue that Mayville faces currently is related to the outcome of the Williamstown case. The city is effectively landlocked, and I am hard pressed to believe that we cannot be doing ourselves a favor by looking to an outside firm and really work on this planning and what can we do to increase development in a city where we are in fact landlocked. So a recommendation will be coming to the council to approve or to initiate the creation of a request for proposal to firms that the engineer makes us aware of, right? So we'll just write an RFP, send it out to the firms, and then they'll respond and provide a bid or a quote, which would then be given to the council for consideration. Date and time of the next planning commission meeting will be Tuesday, March 19th, 5 p.m. Public Safety Committee, first item, discuss with possible action, review of Mayville Ordinance 182-2. So the way this to the Public Safety Committee, Mayville Ordinance 182-2 update needed. We've had an uptick in underage possession of nicotine products commonly known as vape pens, cartridges, etc. We seem to fall outside of the current Mayville ordinance covering tobacco products. I recently reached out to Attorney Franti for clarification if the ordinance adequately covers these devices. It appears that the Mayville ordinance should be updated to reflect the current definition that the state of Wisconsin has noted below. The following is the information Attorney Franti provided to me. So you'll see, essentially, this is a question, a suggestion from the police department, a suggestion to modify our current city code to expand to include other forms of tobacco, such as vape pens, or otherwise.
I do have a question about this.
Yep.
Why under age of 18? Hasn't the tobacco age been moved to 21?
For federal sales of possession and something.
Okay, understood.
And Lieutenant, did I represent your intention well, or do you want to add additional color to that?
No, I don't have anything additional. Our current ordinance covers the possession of tobacco products. The vapes are a separate issue. The state's identifying that a separate definition. Ordinances reflect the state definition. You just need to more or less come up to speed with what the state has. Either adopt language that the state currently has.
Yep.
Or something that other municipalities not already.
What action is needed from us tonight?
So the motion would be a motion to engage city attorney to draft a proposed ordinance change, amending ordinance 182-2 to be updated to be inclusive of or in line with the state ordinance or state statute.
I will make that motion.
Motion is by Lodahl, Keith Lodahl. Second by Schmidt. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Item 2, discuss with possible action, approval of the updated Dodge County EMS Association Mutual Aid Pact, which is also in your packet. I'm sorry?
Do you want me to Julie and Chris?
Oh, sure, yeah. And then Chris, we're gonna unmute you if you would like to speak on this topic.
Sure. So good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Hello?
Let's say, yeah.
Hey, Christine.
Hi there. So what this is we are required to have a mutual aid pack according to the state of Wisconsin. It's part of our operational plan. This is something that's been in place for a very long time with the Dodge County EMS Association. It's not saying that we're covering people that don't have their own staff and aren't able to staff an ambulance. It's simply saying that in the event that their ambulance, and it's usually a first ambulance out, and I'll use Thruster for an example, is out on another call, then if they were their first cover option. And so that's just giving them mutual aid that we're going to come over and we're going to cover their calls. And if something should happen, as you'll see in the details, that we would take care of our own personnel. That's the same thing that in case our 3 ambulances are out and we need Thrust in town or Horicon in town, they would do the same. So all EMS agencies in the county would sign this agreement. There's already an existing agreement that's very, very old, and we felt it was time to refresh it.
And are you good with, the form of this aid pact? I mean, and I guess the question behind the question is, do you need to have the city attorney review it, or are you comfortable with it?
No, I am comfortable with it. You certainly have that option, but I am very comfortable with it as written.
Okay, let's just maybe have them take a quick look.
Never hurt.
So, so the appropriate motion would be, move to approve the new Dodge County EMS Association Mutual Aid Pact pending review of the city attorney in advance.
Oh, so moved.
Perfect. Perfect.
Or excuse me, moved by Gene Briggs. Second by Schmidt. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Get that to Nolan. Thank you, Christine. Let's see. 3, discuss with possible action an update to the city of Mayville's official traffic map under city code 397-2. Not sure how this came about. Did the engineer give you anything on
There's
it?
an email in there.
Okay.
It's highlighted right.
Here it is. Okay. Nolan Franti. Okay, here we go. This is an email from Nolan. Thank you for your efforts trying to locate this. I'm sure both of you, as well as the police department, have other more questions than I intend to right now, but it might be worth adopting an updated copy of the city's official traffic map under city code section 397-2 on a future public works or public safety committee meeting. So I would take a motion to defer this to committee. And we'll review in committee.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Schmidt.
Second.
Second by Lodahl. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so that's moved to committee. Next meeting for Public Safety Committee will be Monday, March 25th, 6 p.m. Public Works, no report. Date and time, the next meeting, Monday, March 25th, immediately following Public Safety. Finance Committee, first item, discuss with possible action adjustment to customer rates to the new GFL rates.
There's a lot of history with this one.
Yep.
So I'll provide some feedback. Tony and I brought this up to the mayor in November, just had mentioning that the current rates didn't appear to be supporting the expenditures or the monthly costs to pick up garbage and recycling. Yeah, we were asked to come back and do a little bit of research, as you know, making sure that there wasn't anything in the contract or what we were paying for that we shouldn't be. We're kind of coming back and now saying, so it costs the city $14.69 a month per house that has garbage and recycling. The current fees are $13.68. So you have roughly, 890 recycling bins and 1,772 trash bins. So you take that difference times the units times 12 months and you end up with a relatively significant shortfall. This fee is really meant to be a pass-through to residents. Ultimately, we came up with a recommendation to update the rates to $14.69, or $5.14 for recycling and $9.55 for garbage.
So the cumulative, the 1469 is the new proposed number. What was the former?
1368, and it's been some time since that number has been updated.
So $1 a month, $1.01 per month adjustment.
Essentially, by no action, the city is subsidizing about $22,000, paying for it. No, it does, I know a dollar doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah, so
Well, this contract was negotiated with GFL probably about 3 years
That's
ago
right.
now. When
Yeah.
we did change over from the previous.
Yep.
Was that only a 1-year contract when we did that? I don't remember.
I'm not sure what the current contract, most garbage and recycling companies require like a 10-year contract because it's a pretty significant.
Impression. So how did we get hooked for another?
So the problem here is compounded. This rate wasn't updated last year. Ultimately, in order for this rate to get updated, it has to come to this council. So with the turnover and just the situation, it just wasn't brought to your attention. You were eating some costs last year, in the month of January and February, continued to eat those costs. Ultimately, we can come back and say, you know, what the term of the contract is, but it likely is a 10-year contract.
With a rate change every year.
It likely has something about being indexed by either
Oh, I
inflation
think
or.
there might be fuel surcharge on there.
Could be.
I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be tough being on your water bill, another buck.
That's a great opportunity to say, while garbage and recycling are on the water bill, it is not a function of the utilities. So make sure any questions don't go to the utilities.
Tell after the 5,000
Yeah.
people.
I'll put it out there in a public meeting.
Plus, anytime that the expenditures exceed the revenues, it's just coming out of fund balance. So that's how we subsidize those payments, is it lowers our fund balance.
So, you'd entertain a motion to simply agree to modify, the household billing from 1368 to 1469. Or if you would like to review the terms of the GFL contract in advance of making that recommendation, you could, send to committee on the 24th.
Why don't we send it to committee?
Motion to send to committee by Keith
Yeah, I'd like to
Lodahl.
see the justification
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
Motion by Keith Lodahl, second by Frings, to send this matter to Finance Committee. Any further discussion?
Not on GFL, but following up with the budget question that was asked.
Oh, yeah.
So the big overage in that city hall account, is not gonna be a reoccurring expenditure, the roughly 22 or 23,000. The prior administration, agreed to cover the lateral, sewer and lateral, for the property that was thought to be TID eligible, but that was not the case. So, the general fund ended up having to cover the bill for, an inaccurate, review of what was TID eligible and what was not TID eligible. For those of you who aren't aware, a TID or TIF is your tax incremental financing district. They collect revenue in the district and can offer incentives to promote development. It's really one of the only things that the city can do to promote growth and development. However, it is very very rigid on what is an allowable expenditure and what's unallowable. So in this case, a contract was signed saying that the city was gonna cover this cost. Again, under the assumption that it was a TIF expenditure, didn't matter to the property owner that it wasn't, it needed to get paid, so that's what that cost is.
That's, out in the industrial.
Yeah, the industrial park, Lefkowitz, the kid building the
Where it is.
yeah, he's building a shed, he's building a shop. This is.
Oh,
that's
it's
what-
the new industrial park?
Yeah, in the industrial park, yeah, this is it.
Okay, but that's not the case in the rest of the.
So going forward, the council, we really don't have a funded mechanism to offer incentives up in the business park right now. So I know we get a lot of calls to the engineer, somebody's interested in these dollar per acre based on anticipated revenue.
What tit is that in right now?
It is not. It was 3.
Was it tit
I
3?
think we closed it at 3.
Oh,
I believe it was 3.
A couple things. The CDA can start a program. However, the CDA needs to figure out a mechanism of revenue. It realistically should not be having levy dollars support it. It should be either self-funded or generates revenue to pass on. But
Nick, I was just gonna say, Nicholas, you could speak with, Ellers, Phil Cosson at Ellers. Would be a really good resource to kind of talk about how to establish funding for the CDA for that purpose. Okay. I get you in touch with Phil. All right, so, did we vote on the table, or excuse me, the refer to committee? All right.
yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that is referred to committee. Date and time of the next Public Safety Committee will be Monday, March 25th, 6 p.m. Public Works, I missed Rock and Boom. Yep, we don't want to miss that. Right, thank you. Okay, annually, the city historically has facilitated the contracts for the Rock and Boom fireworks. I have it vetted through the city attorney each year. And the time is now, the time has come to have the 2024 Rock and Boom fireworks contract approved. So, and I will check with Nolan, he may already be done. I think I've talked to Mike Stewart about this before. It may already have been through legal review. The appropriate motion then would be recommend to approve the 2024 Rock and Boom fireworks contract pending legal review by the city attorney.
So moved.
Motion by Nicholas Lodahl,
second.
second by Alderman DeBaker. Any further discussion? As finance is involved, please take the roll.
One, Andy Baker.
Aye.
Chief Loda, Ward
Aye.
2. Ward 3, Mike Schmidt. Ward 4, Gene French.
Aye.
Ward 5, Chief Nick Steckle.
Aye.
In Ward 6, Nicholas Loda.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item 3, discuss with possible action, review and approve the Mayville proposed fee schedule from Kunkel Engineering Group. Now, the fee schedule is from the building inspector, correct? So in my conversations with Rob Crow, I think it's been quite some time since we've adjusted those fees. And the fee schedule that he's put in your packet are the fees that he is asking the county council to recommend so that he can begin using those fees going forward. Thank you.
For those who aren't aware, so the city doesn't have their own building inspector. It's a contract that's contracted out. So these fees represent the total fee. Some of that is submitted to their firm, Kunkel. A very small portion of it is retained by the city to cover record retention, reporting, et cetera. I have not looked at the schedule and compared it to the prior. I can tell you that typically every 2 years this gets adjusted. Sometimes there's new stuff added. I don't know if there was anything provided by Kunkel on if there was any new fees.
I'd like to see the comparative document, so we could, refer to committee.
Yeah, when was the last time this was adjusted?
It's a great question.
More than 6 years.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, Tony DeBaker's motion to, refer to committee. Okay, second by Gene Frames, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Date and time of the next finance committee meeting will be Monday, March 25th, immediately following Public Works. And then that was the time for us to convene into closed session. It should be brief, pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85, paragraph 1E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. I'd take a motion to move into closed session. Motion by Schmidt, second by Franks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are in closed session. Thanks, Rachel.
Christine, I'll call you. I'll get on the committee or